Good afternoon, distinguished guests and all the audience. It's my great honor to open this forum, and later on I will host the panel discussion. The topic of this forum actually consists of the two topics, which it looks like these two topics are separated. One is semiconductor, the other one is electric vehicle. But actually, underneath, these two topics are strongly connected. Okay, right now, I think previously, some people, I mean, especially during the COVID-19, if you order a new car, you expect a very long delivery time, but the delay is not due to mechanical parts. Mostly are due to the shortage of semiconductors. So these are very, I think this put the world in a shock that such a huge vehicle, but you cannot deliver the vehicle because of a tiny chip. So this becomes a very important topic for the world right now, okay? Because those two topics involve a lot of details, especially in product design, manufacturing, etc. So I decide that to open this forum with the direction of introducing the perspective of the vehicle. Okay, so to begin with, I'll define the opening of this we call green intelligent or green smart vehicle, meaning the vehicle is our target. The vehicle consists of the vehicle that normally transport human, cargo, or a functional payload. I mean, my functional payload is that the vehicle may carry some tools to conduct a lot of works that we expect it to accomplish. But there are two trends on this vehicle. One is the vehicle has to be green. In other words, burning the fossil fuel is no longer an option for the global warming. The other one is the intelligence. Intelligence meaning it can be intelligent enough to help human, or it can be autonomous, meaning, for example, the autonomous driving vehicle. Okay, so ITRI has established, based on this target and the trends, we establish an office which consists of many topics, individual items that is affecting the future of our industry. And particularly today, I'm going to talk about the self-driving vehicle and green vehicles, as well as automotive electronics. So I think everybody knows that the EV right now is the sales of the EVs grows rapidly. And for example, in 2021, there are 16.5 million EV on the road. I don't know what is the number right now, but the growth is astonishing. The growth is very fast, particularly in China. I think United States and Europe are gradually picking up the pace, so you can expect that more and more EV will be in the market. And these trends are pushed by, of course, to reduce the global warming and the carbon emission, so that every country, almost every country right now, is promoting the policy of reduce the CO2 emission, and a large of the CO2 emission, large portion is from the mobile vehicle. So in other words, if the CO2 emission is concentrated, for example, in a power plant, then it's not so difficult to control it. But it's very difficult to control distributed CO2 emission. That means the on-road vehicle. So it's inevitable that every vehicle in the world in the future has to be zero emission. Otherwise, we cannot accomplish this CO2 reduction target. Okay, that's for the saving the world, Earth's perspective. But there are another business driving force. Look at the left-hand side. In 2040, okay, the global revenue of EV is 22.1 trillion. only half of the vehicle sales. Almost there are, I think, 100 million vehicles per year. But if we replace that 100 million vehicle with 50 million, half of them are EV. The market size is 2.3 times than the mobile phone. Okay, we know that mobile phone create a huge economy, but the EV is going to be the next one. Okay, so and in around 2035, between 2035 and 2040, we expect that the sales of the EV will surpass the sales of the IC engine vehicle. Okay. Now, with the sales of EV, there's a huge problem is how do we supply the energy to EV? So currently, there are a lot of companies working on building the infrastructure, including our TAIROA, okay? Because this is very important. And because of that, it creates also a huge business for the EV area. So the EV sales is not only on EV itself, but also on the infrastructure, because the infrastructure is still new to us. Think about it. How many of you live in an apartment building and you have the parking lot, and how many charging ports in your parking lot? In the future, every parking lot will have one charging port. So this is a very huge market for the EV. So you can see that the growth is astonishing, okay? People are trying to build up all the infrastructure, and as the implication of the utility system, meaning the power supply or the utility power supply is going to be changed also, okay? But the change is invisible to us because you don't. If someday you can see that on the road there are TAIROA people digging out the road and paving the new cable line, that meaning it is going to establish the power supply for the EV. And I think we are still in a very early stage of establishing the system. That means still a lot of business opportunities, okay, for the people who are working on this area. Okay, so that's about the electrification of the vehicle. But how about the intelligence? Okay, I think we are now looking at if the vehicle can be autonomous driving by itself. This is of course an ideal of a lot of people, but it's still a lot of obstacles to be overcome. Currently, I think most of the vehicle is not reaching the L3. Okay, only in the L2 stage. in L3 stage, meaning you can release your hand, okay? And but you still have to be, your eye has to be on the road, okay? You have to take over the vehicle anytime. But in L4, almost you don't need to pay attention on the road. Okay, but in L5, you can sleep in the car. Okay, that's a subtle difference. But it is predicted that in 2030, which is not far away from now, there are many vehicles that equipped with L3 and L4. And until 2040, they predict that many vehicles will have the L5 capability. And the most importantly is that if it is reaching an L5 stage, there are a lot of vehicles to be shared. In other words, you don't need to own the vehicle. Okay, the vehicle will drive to your doorway and take you to whatever you want, wherever you want. So there are a lot of sharing vehicle will be emerging in the future. Okay, of course, we can talk about the business. The business including the autonomous driving software and also the sensors and all the infrastructure that will be supporting the autonomous driving. So this number is also, the predicted number is quite large, okay? And it's not it's not the future, it's actually ongoing, because you can see every day that many companies, they roll out a different type of autonomous driving functions, including GM, Nissan, Volkswagen, Ford, Volvo, etc. And there are 3 major companies in the world that roll out the platform. One, of course, is a Mobileye from Intel. The other one, the second one is NVIDIA and Qualcomm. I think recently AMD and other very important large chip makers also roll out their platform of performing the autonomous driving in the future. Okay, so people are trying to reduce the cost. Of course, when reducing the cost, one of the most important issue is the manufacturing, okay? Because it's an autonomous driving vehicle. So in other words, you can imagine that during the production line, you need to do a lot of calibration and the precision mounting. Otherwise, the vehicle will lose its precision. It cannot be driven on the road by itself, okay? And the people are talking about the autonomous driving, if once it emerge, will affect the city landscape. Okay, some people said that parking lot is no longer needed during the city center. Okay, because when the car delivers you to the target location, it just drives to other places. You don't have to park on the on-site. Okay, later on you can use your app to call the vehicle. It will come back to drive you. Of course, using the electric power, not the fossil fuel burning. So this is the idea that people are talking about in the future. So it will affect a lot of our transportation landscape. This is a comprehensive listing of how the autonomous or we call intelligent vehicle will be applied. For example, even for the street sweeping, garbage collection, okay, closed area like an airport. There will be an autonomous driving project in Taoyuan International Airport, and I think ITRI will be participating in there. So I think not long from now, maybe 2 years later, when you go abroad and take flight, come back to Taiwan, you'll be able to take the autonomous driving taxi in Taoyuan International Airport. And a lot of airports in the world is trying to apply this autonomous driving technology. Of course, another very important one is the freight truck. Okay, one of the idea is that from the midnight, from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., there's almost no vehicle on the road. So in other words, if we talk about investment, the availability is low. In other words, you put a road, but there are 4 hours per day. The road is not used. Okay, why? Because people have to sleep. So in other words, if the vehicle can drive by itself, we can use that portion of time to transport cargo or goods. So in other words, in the daytime, you don't face the huge truck because people are afraid of driving on the road with a truck nearby. Okay, so this is another one. Okay, I will quickly go through some of the technology that involving in this electric vehicle and autonomous vehicle or intelligent vehicle. Okay, so major area of technology advancement, of course, electrification. Okay, that will involve motor, inverter, converter, charging, BMS, etc. There are new electric components and also integrated circuits that will be used in the electrification. Battery, fuel cell, and the EVSE. EVSE means electric vehicle supply equipment. I think the President he talked about the IGBT, or right now all the inverter. A lot of the components are going to the EVSE because, as I said, there's so many charging stations that has to be established, and each charging station use a lot of power devices. Okay. Of course, intelligence, CPU, GPU, MCU, sensors. Those are new areas that will create the needs that will change the landscape of IC industry. And underneath is our component, the components that ITRI has put effort in and working with a lot of companies to establish the Taiwan supply chain for this in this area. And there's some hot topic right now currently is we call compound semiconductor. In other words, people are talking about silicon carbide, gallium nitride. That's a next generation power device because 1% of efficiency increase in the EV driving system, meaning a huge number of energy saving in the world because you multiply the number of vehicles. So people care about the efficiency of the power conversion. So previously it's silicon. Right now we are talking about silicon carbide, gallium nitride, and people also talk about diamond. Diamond is the ultimate material. If we use diamond as a substrate, it will create a very efficient power conversion devices. And this is also in Taiwan, we have a very strong IC industry, but how to cut in the vehicle? I think one of the ideas is that the vehicle, electrical and the electronic architecture we call EEA is going to be changed. The change because of a large, very large computer will emerge, put in the vehicle. So like NVIDIA's or AMD, their supercomputer will be put in the vehicle. That will change all the electrical or the electronic system architecture in the future. Okay, and recently a very hot topic called smart vehicle cabin. In other words, if you buy a new car, the dashboard, we call 仪表板, is no longer the traditional one, okay? The most advanced one, you have a huge panel, right? And you can define your dashboard area. So that's what we call smart cabin. And smart cabin not only has the display, but in the future, there will be a lot of sensors to watch the driver, okay? So it will provide an interactive environment in the vehicle cabin. And that it will be involve a lot of panel makers, ICT companies, IC design house, and the foundry, and this will be a very large area in the future. Okay, of course, I don't have to go to the detail. For the self-driving, you create a lot of needs for the sensors, like LiDAR, camera, GPS, okay, and etc. Okay. And to give you some example of ITRI in the past 4 to 5 years, we put a lot of effort to test what is the technology, how can we achieve the autonomous driving. And two efforts that I would like to talk about today. First is this one is that we test our autonomous driving in Hsinchu city for the freight, delivering goods, as I talked about previously, right? I mean, deliver the hard cargo between the warehouse. It's a very tedious work and involve people with a long working time. So this is one of the application. The other one is we go to Australia. This is the highway in Australia from the port, seaport, to the cargo warehouse. And it's the big truck is self-driving during the night. So to deliver the container from the seaport to the cargo. And I think this will be realized more and more in the future. Okay, so this comes to the end of my talk. Okay, so there are 3 takeaways. One, the market of EV, intelligent vehicle, and the self-driving vehicle is pushed forward by need of pollution reduction, carbon neutrality, transportation efficiency, and the safety. Okay. The second one is the vehicle industry experiencing drastic change with many opportunities in new technology and the business model. The third one is connection of EV and the smart grid. We enhance the overall efficiency of power generation, dispatch, and the usage. And I will say that these 3 things will be happening in the future very soon. And I hope that the audience, we can grab this opportunity, especially in Taiwan. We can establish a very strong supply chain for this opportunity to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Dr. Hu, Vice President of ITRI.